Game jams are absolutely fantastic. You get given a random theme and a certain amount of time to make a game, and then you join in with this big community as well. One of my personal favourites is Trijam, because it happens every single weekend and you can just pick which weekend you want to do, and it only takes 3 hours. There's lots of other jams available, including my own monthly jam, which is happening right now. I'll put a link in the cards. But it's been a while since I've took part in one personally due to running the YouTube channel and working on my own projects. But then I seen one hosted by Xanderwood, which looked really, really interesting, and I'm just going to put his video in and he can tell you a little bit more about it.
Game Dev Knockout will consist of 5 individual rounds. Each round will last 2 weeks and you will get 2 weeks off between rounds. On June the 1st, 5 finalists will compete for the title of GDKO 2023 champion and will win the treasure trove of cool prizes kindly donated by our sponsors. Your task for round 1 centers around art and visuals. In your own style, create a level. You don't need to make an entire game, but you should include a way to navigate your new space. Focus on creativity. Avoid hashing out the same old roguelike dungeon you've made 100 times. Think outside the box and create a new land. Be inventive. Does the game need to be a platformer? Can you bend this task to fit a puzzle game? I'm keen to see what you come up with.
So, I've entered. I now need to come up with a game idea. Let's get started. So this is the plan. Hopefully if it goes well. We've got my spare bedroom with a whiteboard on it, and what I'm going to do is draw the entire game on this whiteboard, have multiple whiteboards you can jump between like a Metroidvania sort of game, and hopefully when we cut we'll see something that looks like an actual game, or a concept for a game at least. So update number 1, I've started by actually putting the whiteboards inside of Construct now. So I actually took pictures on my phone of the whiteboard of the room, put them into Construct, and what I've had to do is actually edit the frames out from the whiteboard separately. This is so I can actually have the stickman in front of the whiteboard but behind the frame. Now the whiteboard is of a real whiteboard, which means I get all these scuff marks and details that if I was to make this as a normal game developer, I probably wouldn't put in or have that same level of detail. So that's a really, really nice touch that I like. I've also added in an idle running animation for the player, and what I've done is just found a sprite sheet online, and I've tried to draw it out. Now I was going to draw everything on the whiteboard originally, but it took a long time just copying stuff backwards and forward from my phone to the laptop. So in the end I've just tried to match the style as best as I can, been quite rough with how I'm drawing and not spending too much time on it, so it has a sort of a quick sketchy sort of look. If we play it, you can see the stickman sort of running down. When he gets to the green line, this is actually a trigger, and this will load the next whiteboard. And then the other thing that I'm able to do is actually press the M key to zoom out, and this is sort of my map sort of feature, where instead of having a traditional mini map and then a larger map, it's actually just zooming right out and we can see the stickmen on there, and you can actually play the whole game from this view. So what I need to work on now is a couple of bug fixes, some more animations for jumping and falling, and some level design. So lots to go, so we'll cut back in a bit. So update number 2, all I've literally done is just been making animations for what feels like the last couple of hours, but now we've got the run animation perfected, we've got an idle animation, which nothing fancy, we've got a jump, which also includes a fall animation and a land animation, and this works if we're moving as well, so a couple of animations put in there. Later in the game you'll unlock the ability to double jump, so I've created a second jump animation which does a bit of a flip. And then also there is a dash ability that's been added as well, and this works in the air. It's got a cooldown of a second, so there's a bit of a delay when using it again, but this again will be another ability you unlock. If you're wondering what this weird camera thing is, when I zoom out, this is what it's using to center around the screen. This we made invisible, and then I can't remember if I showed this in update number 1, but now you can make the whiteboards appear, and it's just done by these triggers. So these triggers are numbered, so I can just change the instance variable on these and decide which whiteboard appears. So now I need to sort of plan out a route that the player is going to take. I'm going to figure this out and then I'll get back to you. So it's about 4 o'clock. Here was a quick update that I did for YouTube. We've got some level design done now, so I'm going to carry on for the rest of the night and try and get the first whiteboard finished. So this is what the game currently looks like, and I've added in some real world elements into the game. So these post-it notes, I actually took a picture of these. Same for the blue tack slightly below. There's actually about 4 variants of blue tack that I've took a picture of, and then I can just pick which one I like the look of. Now the text I've used, a handwriting style font, I've tried to match the red biro. then when you come up to this first bit, you'll see that there's this water that you actually can't get across to. Eventually, when you unlock double jump, and I might need to change the geometry slightly to allow you to do this, you'll be able to get to the other side, and that will unlock the next whiteboard. If we come up here, and if I can get better at jumping, there we go. We've got this little bridge that you can come across, and then I've added in this spring. So what this actually does is when you step on it, it teleports the player to the middle of the spring, and that just means it lines you up perfectly for that next jump a bit easier. So if you're not very skilled, it's a little bit easier to make these jumps. I added in this sort of brick panel design on all of these blocks, and then if we come up here, you get the hint to open up the map, which you can see the full sort of world now. You'll see top left, I've added in sort of magnets. I've also added in these clouds in the background. I've tried to match the scuff marks as close as possible. And then we come up to here and down through this door. I've put the arrow there as a bit of a hint that you can walk through here into the next level. And then this is where I'm currently at. You can see that I've added this light around the player as well, so you can actually play this game quite comfortably from this distance using that light to help you, and it's pretty good, to be fair. You don't notice too much. I added in you can die if you go into the water and it just restarts the level. I'll need to make sure that that first whiteboard actually remains, so that's easy enough to do. But this is where I'm currently at. I've got a week left to work on this. So what I'm looking for at this stage is, what do you think? What ideas have you got? What should I do with this second whiteboard? I've kind of made it so you're going in somewhere, but I'm not sure where you're going into. I've also got to design 9 other whiteboards, or my aim is to get 3 done really, really well. But that is it for today's video. If you're interested, I'll put a link up and you can sign up for GDKO as well. If not, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.